ain't gonna believe this, but Texas Tommy has arrived. First time in Texas, first time in Houston, first time playing on a live stream. And I'm gonna tell you something, I'm running hard. Is Texas exactly the place that I needed to get back to 10K a month? Let's find out.
Bet it on me, let it ride. Broke white boy, put it all on the line. Lucky me, lit the Sin City on fire. Money on the floor, watch it double 10 times. Bet it on me, let it ride.
Hello guys, here we are in Houston, Texas. We're playing on stream 5-10-20 at the Champions Club, Texas. First hand here, tie open to $75 in the low jack. He is a very good player, competitive, aggressive, capable of putting in the big boy bluffs, and we look down at 9-8 suited on the button. Normally I would just 3-bet this hand, but this time I would like to let the blinds in, so we put in a call, but all the blinds fold, so we're heads up to a flop of King 9-7 of 2 clubs. He c-bet $75 on this type of boards. I think it could be just range betting. We got a middle pair, we have the position, so we put in a call and turns a beautiful 8 of club. We hit the 2 pair, but the front door flush completes. And interestingly, he bets $375, a small overbet, so what is his range? I think many of his hands will just stop betting the turn, hands like queens, jacks, or even ace-king without a club. So when he chooses this overbet size, I think he's wrapping flushes, or some AX with the ace of club. And here's an aggressive player. He is capable of bluffing. We have the 2 pair, so I like to call. And rivers a 5 of clubs, making it a 4 flush board. And now he checks it over to us, and I am considering between checking it back or turning our hands into a bluff. I think he can check back some flushes to check call, so I like to check it back. He showed pocket tens, and we rake in the first pot of the day. Moving on to the next hand, tie open to $75 from the low jack again, and we look down at pocket kings on the button. With 3-bet to $300, he calls, so we're heads up to a flop of 5-5-3 with 2 clubs. He checks it over to us. On this low board, I don't think pocket 6s, pocket 7s, pocket 8s, pocket 9s, pocket 10s are folding to a big size. So I bet $400 into 635, but unfortunately he folds. Big pot alert. In this hand, Ethan opened to $60 from early position. RJ, Simon call. We looked at a king jack of hearts on the big blind. If it's a late position open, I would squeeze here, but I think it's a little bit too thin to squeeze here versus an early position open. So we put in a call, forwards to a flop of ace 10-9 with 2 hearts. We have a monster draw. Check all the way to RJ, who bet $80 into 250. Simon fold. I think he's stepping really wide here, and his strong hands like sets or 2 pairs will just bet big on this wet dynamic flop. So with the small size he chooses, I think it's kind of weak. So I put in a big boy check raise to $500, and surprisingly, Ethan cold calls. RJ folds, so we're heads up to the turn, which comes a bang! 5 of hearts, we have the nuts. So what is his range when he cold calls on the flop? I think with this stack depth, if he have any sets, he would just go all in on the flop. So I really want hands like ace-6 to continue here. And I bet $500 into 1300s, he calls. Reverse jack of spades. Pot is now 2.3k, we got about 1.5k behind. So we put all the money in, he tanks and tanks and tanks, and finally finds the fold. And you're not gonna believe this, he got pocket 9s. Good fold, Ethan. Good fold.
It's coaching time.
Okay, couple questions for you. I know you haven't played on streams much, but I think you got this. Do people open wider or tighter on streams?
They open wider and loser. Yeah.
And when you 3-bet, did they call too much or fold too much on a stream?
Call too much.
This hand is a slam dunk squeeze, sir. And like, here's the difference between on a Texas stream and in Vegas. And in Vegas, I wouldn't squeeze this hand versus an EP open. On a Texas stream, you essentially have pocket kings here, right? Like you just have you have the best hand here almost all the time, right? On a Texas stream game, like even if it's a pro or opening from EP, he's opening too wide. It's a stream. Even if it's a pro, when you squeeze, they're calling too wide. It's a stream. They don't want to look like a nit. The way you take advantage of that is you just go much wider and thinner for value.
Blunder alert. In this hand, we open the $60 on the button with 8-6 of diamonds. Commission on the big blind calls, so we're heads up to a flop which comes 10-5 deuce rainbow. He checks. I bet $50 into 135 and he calls. Turns a 4 of clubs. He checks again. I think on the static drive flop, Philip may still slow play their strong hands like pocket 5s, pocket deuces, and also the 4 of clubs on turn completing some strikes like ace 3, so I would like to bet small again here to cap him. I go $100 and he calls. River's a king of spades. He checks again. So what is his range? He got no sets. He got no strikes, so I think he has a lot of 10x, and occasionally he may hit some 2 pairs on the river with king 10. So I would like to choose the size to fold out a 10. We can't go crazy here because we could be running into king 10. And I bet $350 into 435. He thinks for a while and put in a call, and we lose to 10-9 offsuit. The mistake that I made is my calibration was off. I think I put in the perfect value size to target 10x, but when I want to fold out a 10x, probably 1.2x pot-ish is the best size.
It's coaching time.
Flop is okay. What are we thinking on the turn here? Why this size on the turn?
The flop is dry. I want to double cap him and turn something get there, like ace 3, 5-4. I want to make sure he doesn't have a good hand on the river.
Okay, so you made sure. What's with the river size then? We already made sure he doesn't have a good hand. Why are you going 350?
I want to fold out a 10.
Yeah, so why did you go 350 then? To try to get a 10 to fold?
I was nervous.
All right, at least you're honest. Yeah, I mean, I think just like 650 here. I think that gets the job done all the time.
In the next 2 hands, I'm gonna show you why 3-betting recreational players in position is so good. In this one, Heavy Boy makes it to $80 with 3-bet on the button with ace 6 offsuit. Yes, it's light, but watch. He calls, so we're heads up to a flop of king 7. When he checks it over, in a 3-bet pot in position as pre-flop raiser, I'm just going to range bet small. I bet $150 and he folds and he got 6-5 of diamonds. Next hand here, the straddles on to $40. Heathy Boy calls. We ISO to $250 in the cutoff with pocket 3s. Straddle folds, Heathy Boy calls, so we heads up to a flop of king jack 10 rainbow. Similar to the previous hand, when he checks it over, I'm just range betting small even we have pocket 3s. We bet $150 and he folds. Why is it so profitable to 3-bet recreational players in position? Because they continue too wide versus a 3-bet, so they're just going to miss a lot of flops. Hey guys, just finished my first cash game live stream here at Champions Club Texas. We were playing 5-10 tonight. Actually, it's a 5-10-20, but anyway, I think this card room is so great. Every decoration, every table is clean, it's great, and the players and the floors are so kind, and I enjoy playing in this environment. So for the game, we're about $1,400 in about 6 hours. I think I could make a lot more adjustment to specific players, but I'm not that familiar with the lineup. Of course, I'll do some study and homework on them, so I hope we can do better next time. So Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next session. Alright, second session here, we're playing 2-5-10 on stream at the TCH Houston. First hand here, MF Limp is under the gun. We call on the small blind with 8-4 of hearts. Comish and Isaac come along 4 ways to a flop of Jack 8-4 monotone 3 diamonds. We check it through to MF who bet $35. We have the 2 pair, we ain't going anywhere, so we put in a call. Comish and Isaac get out of the way, so we heads up to the turn, which comes a deuce of diamonds. We check again, and he bets $75. What is his range? Actually, I don't think he's still betting Jack X here. When he bets big in a multi-way on a monotone flop and continue to bet big on the turn on a 4 flush board, he just got a flush, right? So I like to fold. And look what he got. He got Jack 10 of hearts. Does he just turn it into a bluff? Okay, he is not the typical OMC, and we'll try to get him next time. So moving on to the next hand, ATM opens to $30 in the low jack and Tish 3-bet to $120 in the cutoff. We look down at King Queen of hearts on the button. Not a fan of cold calling 3-bet. Our range will be capped by doing that, which we never want to be capped versus good players. So I like to 4-bet to $300. ATM fold, Tish calls, so we're heads up to a flop of ace, ace, queen. He checks it over. In this kind of board, I don't think big bet makes sense, because one ace king is never folding, and by betting small, jacks or tens or nines could be calling. So I bet $50 into 647, and he finds a disciplined fold with pocket jacks. Nice fold. Big pot alert. Isaac opened to $30 in under the gun. We looked down at pocket kings in the middle blind and we 3-bet to $205. And interestingly, he 4-bet to $650. He got about 1200s behind. So when a player put 1/3 of their stack in the pot, they are just not going to fold, even when they have ace, king, or queens. So I like to 5-bet all in. He snap calls and he shows pocket kings also. We have the black kings, he has the red kings. Fair fight. Flop comes 9-7-3 all blacks. Come on dealer, give us one more club on the turn. And he says no and put a jack of diamonds on the turn and rivers an ace of diamond. We're ending chopping this one up. Next hand here, Tish limps under the gun. We overlimp with pocket eights. ATM and Mo come along, so we're 4 ways to a flop of 4-3 deals with 2 hearts. Check all the way to us and I bet $20 into 42, targeting hands like ace high, flush draws, straight draws. ATM and Mo get out of the way, Tish calls, so we're heads up to the turn, which comes 7 of heart, completing the front door flush. He checks it over, and I like to check it back. Rivers a 10 of diamonds, and interestingly, Tish lit $210 into 82. What is his range? I think it can be limping a lot of suited combos like Queen Jack of Hearts, A6 of Hearts. There are just so many combos of flushes. So I like to mock the hand, and you guys guess what he got? He has Ace 3 of clubs. Oh, I got owned. Nice hand, Tish.
It's coaching time.
Talk to me about like how you're building like a limping and overlimping range, because this game is a time game. There's no rake, so it is okay to have like some overlimps from up front. Like what are you thinking about when you're constructing this overlimping range?
I was considering where are the nit buttons. Will they open aggressively? If yes, I'm gonna limp my range in early position. If not, I'm gonna open big.
Got it. Okay, so the only thing I would add to this thought process is like, what the hell does my hand want to do? And I think the hands that I would be overlimping with are the hands that are kind of weak and just want to see a cheap flop, and the hands that are super strong and want to go for a limp raise. And with pocket eights, like something in the middle, I don't think this hand is good enough to limp raise. And so this hand, like I may just like open this one to a big size. So flop is good. We c-bet, we get called. Turn, I think we can put under the gun in a tough spot here. Is this Dylan, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we could put Dylan in a pretty tough spot here by just betting small on the turn. The reason why we choose this line, c-bet flop, check back turn, and then we bluff catch the river, is because recreational players call the flop too wide, and when the turn goes check check, they just are transparent with their sizing on the river when they're bluffing. And so when they bet half pot, we can just always call. First of all, Dylan is not a recreational player. Dylan's a very strong player. He's not going to be transparent with the sizing. But the thing is if you bet this turn, you are uncapped. He is just not going to be able to fucking bluff raise you on the turn because you bet on the flop into 16 people, and now you're continuing on the turn when a flush comes in, and he knows that you would also bet small on this turn if you had a flush. So like just continuing to bet on the turn, the only time he gets to win the hand is when he actually has a flush.
In this hand, we are playing a splash pot. That means $200 bonus out there. And ATM opened to $150 in the cutoff. We look down at pocket 8 in the middle blind. We call and heads up to the flop of Queen 9-3 with 2 spades. We check it over and he bets $200 into 3-1-2. I think with the splash pot ongoing, he might be just range betting this board. So I like to call and turns a bang! 8 of diamonds. We check it over, but unfortunately he checks back. Rivers a 6 of hearts. So what is his range? When he c-bet a flop, check back the turn, he could have hands like ace king, pocket jacks, pocket tens, or some 9x. So what if we check here? If we check, ace king gonna check back. Jacks and tens are probably not gonna bet again and check it back too. So actually I should bet small here, targeting his under pairs. But I was not that consistent on my thought process at that time. I missed the value bet, I check and he checks back. We show our hand and of course we're good, but I'm not happy with my thought process in this hand. Moving on to the next hand, Outlaw opened to $35 in the low jack, ATM in the hijack calls. We look down at the worst hand in in poker. Pocket aces in the small blind, and we 3-bet to 225. Outlaw folds, ATM calls, heads up to a flop of king 9-5 with 2 hearts. In a 3-bet pot out of position, I am checking my range. We check, and he checks back. Turns a 3 of clubs, so what is his range? When he checks back the flop, I don't think he has strong hands like king X, a set of 9s, a set of 5s, and also he just doesn't have those strong draws as well. Probably some flush draws, but not combo draws. So when his range is that weak, I should check here to let him bluff or just bet small to target his weak portion of range. But again, I made the mistake by betting big here. I bet $500 a pot size bet, and of course he folds. Next hand here, ATM opened to $30 in early position. We look down at pocket 10s in a cutoff, and we're 3-bet to $100. He calls, heads up to a flop of queen 10-4 with 2 spades. Look at the sweet baby there. He check it over, and we bet $100. He calls, turns a king of club. He checks again, so what is his range? I think he has hands like queen X, some open-ended straight draw like king jack, or even jack 10 and some flush draws. So there are a lot of hands that are in elastic here. I should overbet here, going really big, targeting those in elastic hands, but in game I bet $300, which I really hate it now. ATM calls, and rivers an ace of club. He checks again, and I really want to squeeze out a little bit more value from hands like ace queen or ace 10, and I bet a quarter pot $250. He calls, and he had jack 10 of hearts. We eventually value owned ourselves.
It's coaching time.
I want to talk about the turn in this one. Why, Tommy? Why? Like, I was watching, I had this on live. It was on the TV. I was holding the baby. Liz was cooking dinner, and I started yelling at the TV. And she's like, "Why are you yelling?"
I'm sorry, baby. Tia, baby.
Why? Why 300?
At that time, I was too zoom in on, he caught a flop, he could have a queen. When a king comes on the turn, his queen downgraded. I can't go too big, but I missed those portion that is very inelastic, like queen jack, king jack, jack 10. Those are open-ended and never folding to a big size. I missed that portion.
I wanted you to go 600 here. Go for egregiously large sizes for value when you're playing on stream, particularly on pre-flop, the flop, and the turn, because people aren't going to fold good hands. If they're going to fold a good hand, it's going to be on the river. They're not going to fold a good hand on the flop or the turn.
In this hand, we opened to $100 in the low jack with 10-9 of diamonds. Mo on the big blind calls. Just a side note, he has the need button. He needs to win this hand to avoid a penalty. So we heads up to a flop of king h6 with 2 spades. He checks it over to us. In a single ace pot in position, I am betting my range small. I bet $75 and he calls. Turns a 9 of club. He checks. You know what's the most profitable line in poker? Check back with our showdown value, because they continue too wide on the flop. So when their draws break on the river, they are going to bluff, and we can call with our bluff catcher. So I check it back, and rivers a 3 of diamonds. And surprisingly, Mo bets $540 into 357. A pretty big overbet. Usually, when a player chooses a small size on the river, they are bluffing. But this time, we are on stream. He needs to get rid of his need button. So I think most of the time, he is bluffing here. So I flex in a call. Good bluff by him, but better call by us. Big pot alert again. In this hand, Mo opens to $50 in the small blind. Tish in the middle blind calls. We look down at ace queen offsuit in the big blind. Top of our range, and I 3-bet to $300. Only Mo calls, so we heads up to a flop of jack 7-4 with 2 hearts. He checks it over. In a 3-bet pot in position, I am betting my range small. I bet $200 into 650, and he calls. Turns a deuce of spades. He checks. I think our hand has some showdown value versus his draws. So I like to check back and evaluate the river. River's a 4 of diamonds. And now Mo lists $750 into 1,000. What is his range here? I would say pocket pairs will not lead this river. The value hands, he could have his jack X, but also he can have a lot of missed draws. And from the last hand, We can tell he is a guy who will put in a big bet with his bluffs. So I like to bluff catch here with our ace high. We call, but this time he shows ace jack offsuit. Good played, Mo. You got me this time. Huge pot alert. In this end, Tish limps under the gun. We overlimp with queen jack offsuit. And Mo in the big blind ISO to $80. When Tish calls, price is pretty good. We have the best position post flop, so we're in there. 3 ways to a flop of, you know what? Queen jack for rainbow. Look at the sweet baby there. They check it over to us, so I think Mo just doesn't have a strong hand here. Especially when I have the top 2 pair, it just lowers the chances for them to have top pair or second pair. So I like to check it back, turns an 8 of clubs. And now Mo overbets $320 into 240. Tish calls when I faces this big overbet size, and Tish calls this overbet. I have a feeling my queen jack is not good here. But anyway, we chose to check back the flop. I just can't fold here right now, so I put in a call and rivers a queen of clubs. We make the top boat. Mo checks, and surprisingly Tish goes all in for about 2.4k into 1200s. I think for a while don't want to act that strong, because if Mo have a good hand, I want him to call also. After the Hollywood, we put in a call, Mo folds, and you're not going to believe this. Mo just folded 10-9, which is a straight, and Tish has pocket 8s. He hit a smaller full house. Oh my god. And we win this 6.2k pot.
It's coaching time.
Sir,
I gotta defend myself on this one.
go ahead. Go ahead and defend yourself, because you're gonna have a hard time convincing me. Why did you check back the flop when you flopped top 2?
Big blind open. Dylan is a stronger player than him. So I think he is gonna make more mistakes. When he checked the flop, I think he has hands like ace high, probably ace king, ace 10, those type of hands you don't want to see bet. Then I don't think Dylan will make a mistake when I bet here. He would just fold a lot of his hands. So my target is to let big blind pick up something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. The problem is like we're a million big blinds deep and we're in position and we have a very strong hand. If he has a hand like ace king or ace 10, the only way he's calling is if he picks up a hand that's better than yours. So by checking back, we're just letting him realize to hit hands that can be better than us. Like, what are we hoping to happen if he has a hand like ace king? He picks up a 10 and then he has the best hand? Like, just start bet. Like, he could just have like ace jack suited. He just have like jack 10 suited, right? Like, these hands just, they're not folding. I think you just need to start piling money into the pot here and just like pray this guy has like a jack. Good things happen when you bet, when you're in position, when you have strong hands.
So last hand of this session, ATM opened to $30 in the cutoff. We call on the middle blind with 6-5 of clubs. Ethan on the big blind calls too, so we're 3 ways to a flop of 8-7-3 with 2 spades. Flop go checks through and turns a queen of club. We have a monster draw here. We check it over to ATM who bets $100. With the monster draw, I check raise to $400. Ethan folds and ATM calls. Rivers a bang! A 4 of hearts, giving us the stone cold nut. So what is his range? He can have some straight draws, some flush draws, and also he got a ton of queen eggs. When this river just doesn't complete any of the flush draws, I don't think a queen x is folding to a big amount, so I overbet, putting 1.4k in the middle, but unfortunately he folds and he got 10-9 of diamonds. Hey guys, wrapping up the TCH Houston live stream last night. We were playing 2-5-10 and we were up $3,600 in 7 hours. So the result is pretty good and I really enjoy playing on live stream. The dynamic is different, players are more fun, so I hope we can do better next time. And now I'm gonna enjoy my bubble tea now. Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next session. Big pot alert. Wow. In this session, we're back to the public games and we're playing 2-5-10 at TCH Houston. First hand here, sorry that I still haven't started my recording. And this is a POV of a player from the table. We opened the $50 in the hijack with pocket kings, button 3-bet to $250 and middle blind cold calls. When he chooses this 5x 3-bet size, he just have a strong hand. So not much reason to 4-bet small here. I 4-bet to $1,000. Button calls, middle blind folds, so we heads up to a flop of jack 6-5 with 2 diamonds. Not the best flop for us. We lose to pocket jacks, we lose to aces. Actually, we're just ahead of pocket pocket queens here. And I like to check, and button moves all in about 1850 effective. At that moment, I just don't think it's an easy call because we just ahead of queens. But you know, recreational players, they are willing to stack off with overpairs. So eventually I put in a call, turns a 7 and rivers a 3. And look, he tables pocket queens and we rake in a 6k pot. Next hand here, we open $40 in the cutoff with pocket 3s, middle blind 3 bet to $200. We are very deep, we have the pocket pair and the position post flop. Flop comes Jack 9-8 with 2 hearts. He checks it over, so what is his range? I don't think players is balanced here. He may check some aces, kings, but he's never checking first wrong hands like pocket jacks, pocket 9s, or even queen 10. So the best 10 he can have here is pocket aces, and I am confident that I can even fold out overpairs when all the money goes in. But in order to do that, we would need to start on the flop. I bet big $300 into 400s, but unfortunately he folds. Moving on to the next hand, the button opened to $30. We look down at queen 10 suited in the small blind, and we 3-bet to $150. Button calls, heads up to a flop of queen 7-4 with 2 hearts. In a 3-bet pot out of position, I am checking my range when I think the board is gonna be overstepped. We check, but it checks back. Turns a 6 of hearts, completing the front door flush. At this point, I don't think he has many flushes in his range because many of his flush draws will start stepping the flop. So I would like to go for value here, targeting hands like pocket pairs with a heart, ace X with the ace of hearts. So I bet $300 about a pot size bet. Button calls, rivers a 4 of club. Now I think we have 2 options here, either checking or betting small to target his under pairs. I like to check here because the button is an aggressive player. We may be able to win more when he bluffs. So I check, but unfortunately he checks back. We show our hand and we are good. In this hand, EP opened to $35 with 3-bet in the cutoff with ace queen offsuit. EP calls, heads up to a flop of ace 7-4 with 2 club. EP checks it over. In a 3-bet pot in position, I am just range betting small. I bet $100 into 267 and he calls. Turns a 7 of diamonds. EP check. What is his range here? I would say he has some ace X, flush draws, or under pairs. And I would like to target his flush draws and weaker ace X here. I bet $450, but the EP folds. Big pot alert. Button open to $35. A professional in the middle blind 3-bet to $140. And we look down at pocket queens in the big blind. We 4-bet to $410. Button folds, middle blind calls, heads up to a flop which comes 9-6-5 with 2 hearts. Middle blind checks. I would like to target overpairs like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, or ace king here. So I bet $250. He calls, turns an 8 of hearts, completing the front door flush. When he checks, I think our hand is between thin value and showdown value here, so we check back. Rivers a 5 of spades, pairing the board. And interestingly, middle blind lists 10% pot, $135. So what is his range? When he chooses this 10% size, I don't think he has a flush, so I think he has hands like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, blocking the river. I got 2 options here, either calling or raising. But the worst scenario of raising is getting bet 3-bet shove. So I'm thinking, would he be bet 3-bet shoving with a bluff? Probably not, because we are kind of uncapped here. We can check back our pocket 9s, check back pocket 8s on the turn. So this is a mistake I made. I raised to $1,000, but actually this size is just nonsense because pocket 10s and pocket jacks is not calling this amount. And the worst scenario happens. He bet 3-bet all in for $4,000. Come on, will he be bluffing here? Will he turn pocket 10s and pocket jacks into a bluff? Honestly, I don't think that many live players is capable of doing that. But this is a very good player. He makes me hate my race so bad. But anyway, we gotta face it. We made it to ourselves. And eventually, I like to fold because I still think live players are just not bluffing in this spot. He must have a bolt here. But anyway, well played, Ethan. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
It's coaching time.
Oh man, Tommy, this hand gave me an aneurysm. Cold 4-bet is good. Flop, I know it's like standard in a 4-bet pot to bet like small. I don't like this flop size. If he has a hand like 10s or jacks or ace X of hearts, like they're not folding. So I mean, I think we have two options here. We can like maximize against the strong portion of his range. Like my default here is on these like low boards. And I think like in a 4-bet pot, we can consider this low. So on these low boards, I like to just start off with a big bet in a 4-bet pot, like half pot or bigger, because I don't think 10s, jacks, ace X of hearts, king X of heart, like I just don't think those hands are folding. Okay, so the turn we go check. The river he comes out in blocks for 10% pot. Why did you raise?
The reason I choose to raise here because I think I'm kind of uncapped after checking back the turn because I could 4-bet with 9s and 8s.
I don't know if someone's going to give you credit for cold 4-betting 9s or 8s. I know that you could have 9s and 8s here, but I don't think some random dude on a Texas stream gives you credit for 9s or 8s. Because what would they do with 9s or 8s? They would just cold call. I would just, like, I think you have a really easy call on this river. I think if you raise, I don't think jacks or 10s are calling.
Moving on to the next hand, we open to $50 in the hijack with pocket 9s, cutoff calls, and button 3-bet to $300. Small blind cold calls, we have a pocket pair, we are in there. So we are 3 ways to a flop of 8-3 deals with 2 spades. We check it over to the button who bets $150. Small blind call, when he chooses this small size, we have an overpair, we are not going anywhere, we put in a call, and turns a 4 of spades, completing the front door flush. And now small blind lists $400. When a player lists in a multi-way pot when the nut changes on the turn, I don't think our pocket 9s is ever good here. We fold, and now interestingly button raised to $1,500. Oh wow. And look, small blind flashes the queen of spades and folds, and the button shows the ace of spades. I don't know. I think I made a good fold. I don't think the button is bluffing there, but actually small blind does bluff in this spot with queen of spades, so wow. Texas is just crazy. Big pot alert. In this hand, low jack limps, cut off small blind and middle blind call. We look down at pocket 10s in the big blind. We squeeze to $110, low jack and cut off calls. So we're 3 ways to a flop of, you know what, king 10-7 rainbow. Look at that cutie pie. In the 3-bet pot out of position, I am checking my range. We check, low jack checks, and cut off bets $225. When he chooses his big size on this flop, I just think he has a strong hand. So I check raise to $900, low jack folds, and surprisingly cut off moves all in about $2,400 effective. Turns a queen of club and rivers a jack of hearts. Come on, are you kidding me? An ace or a 9, we just made the straights here. We table our hand and thanks God, he mucks and we rake in a $5,000 pot. Big pot alert. Ow. Yes. Texas has many big pots. So in this hand, fold all the way to the blinds. We are in the middle blind with king jack offsuit. I'm just calling my entire range in the middle blind versus a good player. So we call and big blind makes it to $50. I don't think king jack off is strong enough to 3-bet, but still it's a good hand to continue. So we put in a call, hands up to a flop of king 10-6 with 2 hearts. We check it over, he bets $40. We have the top pair, we call, turns a deuce of hearts, completing the front door flush. We check and he bet $150. What is his range? Yes, he can have flushes, but also he is a very good player. He can find all the bluffs with 1 heart. We still have the jack of hearts, so we call, turns another 10 of club. We checks and he overbet for $550 into $480. I told you guys, Texas is crazy. People are not shy of piling a lot of money. But this is an aggressive player. We are in a wide configuration, blind versus blind. If he really has a flush, so be it. We put in a call and you're not gonna believe this. He shows 9-3 offsuit. What? Alright, last hand of the session. We open to $50 in the low jack with 10-9 of hearts. Cutoff calls has up to a flop of queen 10-4 rainbow. In a single raise pot out of position, I am checking my range. We check and cutoff bets $50 into 117. We have a middle pair, we call, turns a 6 of spades. We check it over, he bet $100. What is his range? I think he has hands like queen ace, but still, there are many draws. Because I've seen this player double barreling with his draws, so I elect like to call, and river's a king of diamonds. We check, and he bets $275. This river just complete the straights of Jack 9, and it can also make him 2 pairs like King Queen. So I can't really think of the hands that we are winning. Probably just 9-8. And also, what does our hand looks like when we check call? Yeah, Ace King. Recreational players always put us on Ace King when we show weakness on this type of boards. So when the scary king come on the river, I just don't think they're bluffing. I like to fold, and guess what? He shows Ace Deuce of diamonds. Wow, Texas is just different. But okay, I'm gonna adjust. Nice hand. Good bluff. Hey guys, just finished my session at TCH and now we are having our food at House of Pie, the best restaurant beside the card room. And for this session, we're about $3,600 in 10 hours. So yeah, pretty good. I hope you guys enjoy. Look at that sweet baby there. I'll see you in the next session.